Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we're looking at strikers. Manchester United being linked with about 4, count them 4 strikers. So who are they? Let's find out and get into it. Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and the weather is pretty mild, so you won't need your parkers. Loads of stories to get through. Before we do so, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Want to get to 810,000 subscribers. We're almost there. With your support, we will make it. Right, Manchester United are going a bit turbo when it comes to strikers. I'm going to get to that in a minute. First of all, though, we have been linked with the goalkeeper. I think Fabrizio Romano has tweeted about us being linked with Senne Lammens, if I'm saying that right. This is the lad from Royal Antwerp, 23 years old, highly regarded, Manchester United, monitoring the situation style sort of links at the minute, but one to keep an eye on because there's still rumblings, isn't there, that we may be in the market for another goalkeeper. We know that Andre Onana is obviously injured, should be back for the Arsenal game, maybe not. Alcy Bayandere is obviously an option. Tom Heaton is an option. But even if everyone's fit, there's still reports and rumours that Manchester United are looking for another goalkeeper because we're not 100% sure how confident Ruben Amorim is in Andre Onana. There were some stories saying that he's going to back him, that he's going to stick with him. However, if another goalkeeper became available that the manager likes, it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility that we went in for him. So I want to keep an eye on. As always, let me know your thoughts. Get involved in the chat and the comments. If you know much about this lad, I'm all ears. Let's talk about strikers then. Manchester United being linked with quite a few strikers. The recent one that's sort of doing the rounds is Randal, Kolo Muani. I think the Manchester Evening News have had this one or two other publications as well. Was at PSG, went on loan at Juve, did all right, scores goals, is quite an exciting player to watch at times. He has been compared to Thierry Henry. I think that's completely unfavourable. I mean, you're always going to be on a hiding to nothing when you're compared to Henry, and I personally don't see it myself when I've watched him, but you may disagree. Could Manchester United get him? Yes, I don't see why not. Is he the answer to our problems? I'm not so sure. He's 26 years old, so he's not a youngster. He's not an up-and-coming player. He's an established striker, and he has been at big clubs. I do worry a little bit. I just don't know if it's still a little bit of a gamble. He's not someone who you consider necessarily prolific. He gets sort of, 10, 13, 14 goals a season or whatever. I think it was it 8 at Juve in about 16 games in Serie A last season, which is a decent return. However, I do feel like this would be a little bit of a gamble. And I don't know. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. I'm not going to pretend I've seen loads of him. I haven't. But it's one of those where, yes, we do need a striker. Yes, he can score goals and he can be an exciting player to watch. But is he the answer to our problems? I'm not so sure. All the strikers we've been linked with have pluses and negatives. There's always this argument that's going on with any of the ones we've been linked with. Another one is Nicolas Jackson. Now, I mentioned this in my news a few weeks ago. I think it was a Sunday. I said, we've been linked with Nicolas Jackson. People in the comments saying, come on, Jay, not a chance, never going to happen, and nor should it. Others, however, saying, it's not the craziest idea I've ever heard. That rumour is still doing the rounds, and that seems to be gathering a little bit of momentum. I think it was in the Mirror. I think it's been in the BBC as well, or on the BBC. So it seems like there could be something in this. Manchester United looking at the Chelsea striker. Chelsea have obviously they've got Pedro, they've got Liam Delap. There's talk that maybe Nicolas Jackson is almost surplus to requirements there. There was a rumour or report that he was worth about, or not worth, but they'd slapped like £100 million price tag on him a few years ago or a year ago. Something ridiculous, because I think his contracts, he's got one of those Chelsea contracts that last till 2087 or something stupid. However, that doesn't feel like it's anywhere remotely near the realms of realism to suggest he's worth 100 million or you're going to get 100 million for him. But Chelsea are being linked with Alejandro Garnacho. Could there be something in there where Manchester United sold Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea and then use that money or some of that money to buy Nicolas Jackson? I know you might say, well, why not just do a swap deal? But as Laurie Whitwell and others have explained, swap deals are quite rare and quite difficult. And even when you've got two clubs who both want each other's players, more often than not, it'll end up with one of you selling one player and the other one selling another. It's just easier to work it like that. So could that happen with Manchester United and Chelsea when it comes to Garnacho and Jackson? Potentially. I'd want to see Manchester United getting the sort of the profit from that deal, if that makes sense. I think Garnacho is actually worth more than Nicolas Jackson. You may disagree. As always, get involved. Let me know what you think. With Jackson, I spoke about this. I think I might have even mentioned it on yesterday's news. He does get goals and assists. I think his goal involvements record is basically in the Premier League almost 1 in 2, or around 1 in 2, which is a decent return. There's no denying that. However, from the eye test, at times he can look a little bit all at sea. He can look a little bit clumsy. He has had games, big games, where he's missed a few sitters. But would he do a job for Manchester United? Yes, he would. Is he an improvement on what we've got for Manchester United? As a striker, he probably is. Is he enough of an improvement, though? That is the question. We've also been linked with Ollie Watkins. He's a little bit older than Jackson. Well, he's quite a few years older than Jackson. I think Ollie Watkins is, 28, 29. Jackson's 24, so there's obviously an age difference there. Could Jackson come to United and do a job? Let me know what you think. Could Ollie Watkins be the answer to our problems? Maybe. Those are the sort of... It's Watkins, Muani and Jackson who the main strikers we're being linked with at the minute. As always, though, these things can change, these things develop. We will keep an eye on it. We will let you know. I'm interested to see what you think, because it feels like it's quite a divisive topic when it comes to Watkins, when it comes to Jackson, and I'm guessing when it's going to come to Muani as well, although I haven't really spoke to you guys about that yet, so I want to know what you think. But of all the strikers we've been linked with, there'll be an argument, people saying, yes, that he makes sense, let's get him, he can score goals and all the rest of it, and then the others saying, oh no, I don't want him, not the answer to our problems. So it just shows you where Manchester United are at, and the sort of market we're shopping in. We aren't going turbo to get sort of the star striker. It seems like we're trying to cut our cloth accordingly. However, we are being linked with Benjamin Sesko. Now, he is probably a little bit of a cut above the ones I've mentioned, certainly in terms of reputation. I think he's 22, scored quite a few goals, was linked with a move to Arsenal. That's not materialised. Looks like they're heading towards Victor Gyökeres, even though there was some rumours doing the rounds of us being backing for Gyökeres. It has been sort of dismissed by most reasonable journalists. So Benjamin Sesko is one to keep an eye on. Probably the preferred choice out of the four I've mentioned. You may disagree. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Do you think that Sesko's the answer? Do you think it's Muani? Do you think we should be in for Nicolas Jackson? Do you think it should be Ollie Watkins? It does seem as though Manchester United are going to get a striker this summer. It does feel like that. Marcus Rashford, of course, has gone to Barcelona. That's going to free up some money in terms of wages. I think it's an obligation to buy or an option to buy for 30 million euros. So you're not going to see any money coming in from the sale or the loan fee, because there isn't one. But the amount of wages that Marcus Rashford is on, the amount of money he's saving there, it is a chunk of change. Could that go towards a striker? Potentially. Let me know what you think. Bryan Mbeumo, finally. I can stop talking about the Bryan Mbeumo rumours, reports, news stories, all the rest of it. He's been at Carrington. He's had his medical. I think he's got the number 19 shirt. I saw a picture of him in a number 19 training shirt. We've not had the Comunicado Official just yet. By the time you're watching this, we might have done. So Manchester United, the club might have tweeted that he's an official Manchester United player and all the rest of it. So if he is, if you've had all that, welcome to Manchester United, Bryan Mbeumo. If you haven't yet, then I hope to see you soon at Manchester United. All the sort of smart money is on him being part of the US tour. I don't see why he wouldn't be. And I look forward to seeing him over in the US, because Stretford, Paddock are going to be there. We're going to be in the US, going to be covering those games. So make sure, if you're not doing so already, you subscribe to the channel. We're giving you loads of content over there. We'll be in the press conference, the mix zones. We'll also be doing the usual stuff we do. We're doing the transfer reviews, we're doing the podcast, we're doing the news, we're doing all that good stuff. Also, if you've not done so already, go and check out some of our other videos that are up on the channel. Go and check out Howson's transfer review. Go and check out the two Carl Anka videos we've got. Went down a treat. Carl Anka reacting to the Mbeumo news. I said it wrong the first time and right the second time. Not news. And also giving us his take on some midfield options potentially. So make sure you check those videos out. We'll be back later on with the Paddock Podcast. I'm Benjamin Sesko. This has been the Paper Talk from a pretty mild Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.